All right, today is Thursday, September 17th. It's just after 10 a.m. We're going live here in Phoenix. I don't even know what we're going to talk about today. Just stick around. We'll have fun with it. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. And we're helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you need any assistance whatsoever when looking to move here, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix metro. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's bring my good friend and partner here, Rudy Lopez with Prime Lending. Rudy, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm a little worried if you don't have anything to talk about or you don't know what to talk about, then I'm completely lost. I usually lean on you for that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, there's always something. We can kind of catch up on what the action's like this week, what you're doing work-wise,
Right.
what you're seeing out there. You're right. And for everybody out there who's like, hey, this is going to spiral out of control quickly. Hey, maybe it will. I don't know. You guys can see a train wreck live in an action. But I think Rudy and I are both like we've been so. We've been busy for a long time, but this week especially, and I'm sure it's mentally draining, especially with little ones. It's a little challenging, but we're here for you guys. We want you guys to come in, ask questions, and hang out. And we got a good morning from Oregon already. Good morning. Thank you for watching. How are things in Oregon? Because my sister actually lives up in the Portland area, and she's talking about the all the fires and potentially people evacuating. It doesn't sound very fun there. On top of all the rioting that's happened, it's been crazy. So. Hopefully you guys are safe over there. Hopefully the air quality is not too bad. It's the whole West Coast has been crazy. Do you know anybody out Washington, Oregon, California that's going through any of that, Rudy?
I do know a few people up there. Obviously, our good friend Addie Net. Shout out to our buddy Addie Net. And then I've got some friends in Washington State as well. So our hearts go out to those folks out there. It's unfortunate what's going on, but I know a few people. And they haven't been affected from what I know, but our hearts go out to them.
Good to know, because I know a lot of people have. I mean, it's been we talk about this every week. It's just been an insane year all around, and you're like, when's the negative stuff going to end? Like, when can we get back to some positive? I mean, I feel like a lot of us are getting in a little bit better shape when it comes to all the COVID issues, and obviously we're seeing a certain few things go back to normal. It was crazy watching football again on Sunday and seeing some of the colleges go back. So we're seeing a little bit of positive traction when it comes to making some progress there. But man, we keep seeing a lot of crazy stuff that is affecting people negatively.
But luckily, at least here, the COVID numbers have declined a bit, and the news hasn't been 100% COVID. As far as when I turn on the TV at night. So that's a positive. Hopefully, that it continues in that direction. And to your point, yes, luckily we're starting to get some other news that's distracting us a little bit, or at least making us feel like we're headed towards some level of normalcy, hopefully in the future. But it's good to see football. It's good to see other sports. It's good to see some other activities other than the same old news that we've been receiving the last 4 or 5 months.
And let's hear from our friend in Oregon. So the air quality is slowly getting better, but still, and the riots are bad. Can't wait to move to AZ. Yeah, I totally get you. Like, I don't know, because we still have some other friends up there as well have been talking about the riot situation. It just, I mean, I don't even know where to go with that, because it's horrible, and it's a mess, and I don't blame you. I like because and Oregon looks like such an amazing place to be, and it's like I look at some of the videos like our good friends started an amazing channel up there, and it like makes me want to move up to Portland. Like when I watch their channel, and to see all the negativity and the stuff that's going on, it's just really sad. So we'll be happy to have you here. Hopefully you love Arizona. It's not going to be as green as Oregon. So there won't be some of the features that you love probably in Oregon, but hopefully we'll give you some other stuff that's pretty positive. I'll say this too, like I was cruising around, like I try to stay off social media as much as I can, but there are so many people that we're connected with networking wise through work stuff that you have to get on and kind of do that. I saw like 2 really positive things that were posted yesterday, and I'll just share just because. It's like we don't get this much positivity. One was another real estate agent here in Arizona. He was working with his buyers. They had gone through 7 offers, finally got an offer accepted, went through the inspection period. The air conditioner wasn't working. And it was like a younger couple who was going to get married. The seller found out about it, surprised the buyer by replacing the air conditioner, said, that's a wedding gift from me. Like, you don't hear those stories very often, especially in real estate. That's fantastic. Like, I was just loved seeing stuff like that. Most of the garbage we see on the real estate website is people complaining. That's pretty much what we see. That was one of the best things I'd ever heard yesterday. Have you seen anything like that, Rudy?
No, that I have not, especially with all the stress that both buyers and sellers and everyone involved in the transaction are going through during these times. That's a breath of fresh air to hear that someone has taken the time to do something out of the goodness of their heart for a complete stranger. So that I love hearing those kinds of stories. Yeah, I haven't. Unfortunately, I don't have any cool stories like that right now. Mine have been pretty much plain vanilla and a couple of high emotion situations where obviously buying a home can be a very emotional situation. But I'm glad to hear that kind of stuff.
And trust me, I'm in the same boat. I think most of my situations have been very highly emotional as well. And even when you're trying to navigate and tread water and make everybody feel as good as you possibly can throughout the entire process, there's so many factors involved, and there's some that are just out of our control that just kind of give people a different idea of what's happening and kind of can let some things happen negatively. It's tough. But one other thing I want to share, because this was another positive thing. I saw these basically back to back, and I was like, oh my God, it's so awesome to throw or to see positive news. I don't know if you've ever heard of, there's a blogger called Arizona Foodie. She's on Facebook, does like blog stuff, just like goes out and kind of hits a lot of the restaurant scene, shares it. I've been following her for a couple of years. It's really cool, like what she's done with that. Now, so she's taken the opportunity, so she's raising, money and going out to small, whether it's restaurants or kind of, people are out catering, like doing like the stands on the street that are hurting, like the people who are not making the same type of money that they've been all year. And she's going up and she's finding people that look like they do an amazing job and like are providing the best service possible, but might be struggling. And she's raising money and giving like $1,000 tip after purchasing food from them. And the reaction that I saw yesterday from somebody receiving that as a tip was so awesome, and so that was cool too. I mean, I don't know. I just want to bring those up because again, we haven't seen that many things like it kind of restores your faith in humanity with all the negative garbage that's going on, and it was awesome to see. So anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to share that with everybody.
No, that's great to hear, and that's the kind of stuff that I love to hear. And I know you and we get so busy with work and handling the stresses that go along with work and taking care of our family that we sometimes aren't privy to these great stories like that one. So I'd love to hear more about them, and maybe even on our channel here, we can maybe let everybody know some of these cool stories that are going on here locally or even across the country, because that certainly makes me feel good.
Yeah, it gives me like the feeling of like, hey, let's go partner up with some of these people who are doing good things.
Yeah.
And like, hey, I'll throw in some cash to do something like that, because it's like it feels so good to kind of see it in action with people who are doing it right. So let's bring back up our friend from Oregon. I miss the green, or I will miss the green, but I look forward to the mild winters and being able to wear shorts most of the year. Yes, you will get that for sure. I'm like not the dressy agent. I don't wear a suit ever. I wear like shorts and a polo and my flip flops most of the time. So if you're ever coming and you're meeting me, that's typically what I'm wearing while cruising around houses. I'm not like I don't know, all the typical real estate stuff that you see where people are trying to be on reality TV. But so yes, you will have that opportunity here.
When I first moved here,
go ahead.
When I first moved here, so when I was in Dallas, I was used to wearing a suit and tie, and that was usually 99% of the time what I would wear, because the weather wasn't ridiculous in Dallas. It was fine.
Yeah.
When I moved here, I started off wearing a suit and tie, and the first day I showed up to the office, a couple of my coworkers jokingly said, "Yeah, that's not going to last very long." And they're right. Now I don't even know where my suits and ties are. They're somewhere in the house. I don't even know, but I could tell you where all my shorts and T-shirts and sandals and comfortable clothes are. So I've changed quite a bit.
And look, I get like people appreciate. There's certain people that hey, that's their style. That's what they like to do. Right. They like to look sharp, and I get it. Like there's certain people that that's how they run their business. It's a style, and then there's obviously a clientele that's like kind of in that same boat where they're like, hey, that's how we operate. We want people that we feel dress appropriately for what we're trying to accomplish and feel like that's a more professional look. I totally get that. I will never discount anybody. It's just for me, I like to dress comfortably. I like to hang out with people who are comfortable. It just gives you like a more, I don't know, it just makes you feel better in my mind. But whatever makes you feel good, I'm all for it.
Yeah, 100%. I just have a hard time looking professional when I'm sweating and my shirt is drenched and I'm wearing a tie and a suit. That kind of defeats the purpose in my eyes for me. But yeah, I definitely, if I need to put on a tie, I'll go ahead and put one on.
It can be rough, and especially like we had been talking about it in our last couple weeks, like hoping September would bring us a little bit cooler temps, and yeah, I guess it's under 110, so that's good. And our mornings have been nice. I'm up at 4:35 a.m. every day and out and about. It's the mornings are fantastic, so that's been nice. We're still in the mid 100, like 105, 102 range. I'm hoping that starts to trickle down into the 90s soon. But so it's still a little warm, but hopefully we're starting to see a little cooler temps.
Yeah, you're starting to see the runners and the people that want to enjoy the outdoor activities a lot more now in the mornings. It's beautiful in the mornings right now. At least I think it is. Cooler weathers for sure.
That's especially when we get to October, we know for sure that we're going to have nice evenings and nice mornings. You're going to have some warmer weather during the day, but it's the beginning of why we live here. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, someone told me that Halloween is the magical date that somehow the stars align and the weather changes overnight. I can't remember last year Halloween because everything just seems like, yesterday seems like it was a year ago. So I'm really paying attention this year where on come Halloween, if that's really when the weather takes a turn.
Yeah, I think that's a good point for because I would imagine, and I'm trying to remember last year too. I think we're all in the same boat. Like we can't remember anything for like this whole year seems like it's been the longest year ever, and like anything before, like I just have no memory of whatsoever. But
right.
I'm sure when it gets there, like so typically for people that have a cocktail here or there, they understand that sometimes you need to start having more cocktails. That brings back your memory of what happened before, and then you're like, oh yeah, now I remember what the weather was back here because I was having a few beers on Halloween, and I remember this thing happened. So I don't know if you're like that, Rudy, but that's for me. That's what happens.
Yeah, some of my best and worst memories revolve around a couple drinks, and yes, some of my most vivid memories revolve around that. So I will definitely second that notion from you.
Yeah. Some memories you don't want to remember, but hey, it comes up anyway.
Speaking of memories, I read yesterday that young adults right now, it's the highest percentage of young adults that are moving back with their parents. In July, 52% of young adults between the ages of 18 and 29 are now living back at home. And I found that interesting. That folks are moving back to live with their parents, and it's obviously because of what's going on with the pandemic and just the economic situation that we're in. But it's the highest percentage of young adults that are living back at home since I think it was like 50 years ago when it was like 48%. So it's definitely an interesting trend that we're in.
Yeah, because you think about the jobs that the typical person in that age group, like all those jobs are either have been eliminated altogether because of what's happened this year. They're being automated away. I mean, I don't know how many people I'm talking to, like, especially with people now working from home and companies realizing that they can run on a much smaller scale employee-wise than they needed to before. And it's like, some company, I mean, you can tell it in the economy to a certain extent because, like, you see the stock market still rolling along. That has nothing to do with how people are doing. That just has to do with, like, who's making money right now. And a lot of companies are making money because they've let go of a ton of people and they don't have to spend the money on wages. So it's a crazy time for our future, and that's why it's really interesting how we're going to navigate this going into next year. What leadership is going to do. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not really optimistic at all, but I'm just trying to say that in front of the video because I don't want people to think I'm negative.
Well, we won't let out that dirty little secret. Don't tell. Always negative.
We're about 19, 20 minutes. So we probably only have a few people watching. So don't tell anybody.
Newsflash.
Don't tell anybody I said that.
Times.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the future, the Fed met on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they announced yesterday. Part of the announcement was that the Fed funds rate is going to remain unchanged at 0% up until or beyond 2020. Anticipating the Fed funds rate to be at 0, or their forecast is for it to be at 0. Now, here's the problem with that headline is that I actually heard someone. I was buying lunch yesterday, and I heard a couple people. I overheard them talking about how the Fed funds rate is going to be at 0. Rates are going to continue to be low for the next 3 years. The Fed funds rate is not the same as a mortgage rate. The Fed funds rate is a short-term overnight rate that banks lend to each other, and that's completely different than a long-term 30-year mortgage rate. So just please understand that if you see that headline or if there's something on the news that you see that says rates are going to be at 0 for the next 3 years, that's not talking about mortgage rates. It's actually the contrary. So,
good point. And why don't you speak to that real quick? Because I remember even back in March when this first kind of came down and there was that confusion all the way around. And from what I remember, like that going to 0 actually pushed the mortgage rates higher.
Right. And so the reason they're at 0 is because they want to stimulate the economy. They want to encourage spending, which also equates to inflation. And inflation is the enemy of mortgage rates interest rates, mortgage rates. So if they want to continue stimulating the economy with a low Fed fund rate or a 0% Fed fund rate, they also did mention that they are okay with letting inflation get a little higher than 2, even closer to 3%. The higher the inflation, the higher the mortgage rates are. So keep that in mind that it's not that 0% that you need to focus on. It's their verbiage and their language regarding inflation, which is going to it's going to result in higher mortgage rates possibly in the future. So if you see that and you think that, well, you have time to maybe sit on the sidelines and not necessarily buy or refinance right now, please reconsider that, because it's not true. And there could be a possibility here in the short term, or even for the next few years, that rates will go up, because they're at all-time lows. So they can't really go much lower than they are. I mean, they can, but there's highly probability that they're actually going to go up.
Yeah, I mean, like
inflationary language is out.
It doesn't seem possible to be going lower, but I don't know. I guess it didn't seem possible it's going to go lower than get to this point. So it's all right. And I'm hearing people, like some people, and I refinanced back in March, but I only got to 3.5, and like only 3.5 sounds stupid because 3.5 is pretty good. But when you're hearing people go to like 2, 6, stuff like that, and we talked about this a little bit before. A lot of people are paying points in order to get that rate within the twos, so it's not exactly you're a free, you're getting 2.625 or whatever without paying a little bit into it. But if you're going to be in the house long term, then maybe it makes sense. But for anybody who did refi, but like in my case, like if I refied at 3.5, does it make sense for me to refi again?
Well, it depends on what your goals are. If I have somebody right this second who has 3.5, and he is refinancing down to 3.125 for shorter term. He's got 24 years left on his mortgage, and he's refinancing for a 20-year term. His payment's going to go up about $50 to $100. But hey, that 4 years of saved interest and payments, that's worth it. And so, in his situation, it does make sense. And I have another person who's at 3.75, and he's refinancing down to 3.125 as well. And he's doing it for 30 years. So he has 27 years left. He's going to do it for 30 years because he knows that in a couple years, his financial situation is going to change. His wife's going to retire. Their income is going to be affected because of that, and he wants to save on a monthly basis. So it depends on what your situation is. If you are planning on staying in the house, and I've got a friend in Houston who he's at 4%, but he's not going to refinance because he's going to move out of the house in 12 months. So it doesn't really make sense to pay closing costs. Doesn't make sense to go through that situation in his particular situation, because he's going to leave next month. So next year. So he's going to have to buy another house anyway.
Yeah, and there's so many factors to consider, and everybody's situation is different. I think you hear a lot of people because they hear news through the grapevine, or they see a friend did something here and there, and they're like, "Oh, I better like jump on that too." And it's not always the best fit depending on your situation. And the other thing is, you might not be getting the entire story. I think that's especially when you hear all the marketing of like what people are getting rate wise, and then you're not hearing the the bullet points at the bottom being like, hey, this is what people had to spend in order to get that too. So all those things are important factors to remember.
Well, that's a great point, because here's another tip for our viewers. If you ever just want to go online and Google, or even go to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase mortgage rates, you'll see that in the fine print, they're charging points. So depending on the loan amount, your down payment, the amount of points that you're paying, that's all factored into the interest rate that you're being quoted, or that you're seeing on the website. So I always encourage my clients, or anyone who's just asking, to go online and Google it and check it out themselves, and they'll see that there's no free lunch, as they say, right? No. People look for it all the time. But, I want it. If you can find it, let me know, and I'll be there.
It doesn't always happen. We're getting about to be 10:30 here. If anybody is still out there, you have any other questions, please reach out. I didn't put up my little Ask Questions banner until a little later on here, but appreciate our friend from Oregon. I see your YouTube name here. But I'm not sure. Give us your name. Say hello if you're still watching, or if you watch later on. Let us know what your situation is, and give us a shout. Give us a call. We'll schedule a Zoom call and kind of see if we can help you out with anything. So, but I wanted to share this, and I'll share it with you, Rudy, because I don't think we've even talked about it, and I've even got your information on this now, so you probably want to know about it. But I have a new website that is called livinginphoenixaz.com. I'm going to bring it up right now. And I'm excited for this, because I think this is the perfect thing for the channel to kind of collaborate with having a website that kind of shares some of the same information. So for anybody who's looking to move to the Phoenix metro area, this website is going to be perfect for you to provide not only kind of access to our videos that we'll show you, but we're going to also have a blog that will kind of take the videos and put them into more of a blog form that makes sense for if you want to read about stuff, kind of share some information. We're building this now, but if you want to come in and you're like, hey, I want to look at Phoenix area information related videos, or just Scottsdale, or just Chandler, Peoria, that type of thing, go on to the blog. And then on our about, this is where, Rudy, this is where you need to have it, and I'll send you this later so you can look at it. But I've got Rudy on here, but we need more of a description for Rudy. So Rudy, I need that from you so we can add it to the webpage. And so
I'm a ghost right now. There's really nothing. I have no substance.
Well, there's a little bit there. It's not horrible. I know you can't see it right now. I think you'd appreciate it. You'd probably be like, that's fine as it is. But we'll share that with everybody later. So hold on.
Awesome.
Let me get back to us on screen. But check that out for anybody who's looking at it. Hello to Cindy. Thank you for tuning in. Always good to see you, and appreciate all your support and watching. And then Hono Shikin. I'm just going to say your YouTube name, and I apologize if I'm not saying it properly. But thank you for watching as well, and reach out to us. So
thank you for watching.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. We appreciate any questions you guys have and comments, that type of thing. So, Rudy, anything else you want to? We'll see if anybody asks a question. But anything else you want to leave with before we sign off for today?
No, just excited for the weekend. Maybe get a little bit of relaxed time with the family. But just if not, then I'll probably be working a little bit as well. So no, nothing exciting going on. Yeah.
I hear you.
Just same old.
Same here. I've got our contact information up for anybody who wants to reach out. Here, let me do this real quick. Website be very helpful. Yes, awesome. Yeah, that's the goal, Cindy. We appreciate it. Like that, all this will hopefully be kind of working in conjunction together to make the process so much easier for everybody. We're working on some maps and stuff like that. So all this will work to be hopefully one of the best resources you can find available in order to help make the move for you and your family as smooth as possible. So again, we appreciate the feedback. Let us know how we can improve it. We're always trying to improve, and all the feedback, especially from you guys that are moving from out of state, your feedback is so crucial and important to us to help improve what we're trying to accomplish. So we appreciate it greatly. Cindy, thank you again. Have a great Thursday. Rudy, we will talk to you next week. Everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.